MBI.com. This is John's reports for the 30th of November as we're about to end the month here. There's been some improvement, but we got caught right at this 4,008, waiting for, the Santa rally. But then that sell signal came in with the MBI readings right there with the magenta dipping back below the 33. Though you're not seeing much of an activation for shorts because white MBI fading a little bit as well. So kind of blah. That's why I'm literally holding support. Not that big a shock here. Shakeout getting incredibly weak, but we got a new lift in the MBI being shakeout gold here. So we could be poised for that next rally move that would be the beginning of, potential center rally that everybody looks for at this time of year. We'll have to wait until that signals. Obviously, we'll see it on the earlier 50K and those kind of charts first, but from that standpoint, we're not seeing anything. NASDAQ and that looking identical with these pretty soft breakdowns. And actually, NASDAQ's been worse anyway because the shakeout on it was already, we talked about the other day, much weaker and now really broke into a solid negative category and approaching the 50%. So that could be an additional strain on the S&P. Clearly, the broader market's faring a little better. Oil, a little bit of a bounce back, still holding on, and fairly decent buy signal from it from that standpoint. So we could be looking at another move back up towards the mid 80s. For oil, again, that would pretty much be the status quo. There's been some relief. Overall, Euro's been in this tear for quite a while, and looks like it's just getting a little bit softer. We'll see if there's any momentum for. Again, I don't really think that will take place simply because the U.S. is backstopping it at this particular stage just to hold above that parity, because there's really not much of a reason for it to be above that. And it's a similar situation with a lot of currencies that require a lot of dollars at this particular stage. So it's one way to diffuse that pressure. TLT, a little bit of a pullback there, a little increase in rates. There's going to be a lot more activity in treasuries now that there's the potential for actual returns, even if they're negative. When you take inflation, taxes into account, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But safety, and particularly in the uncertainty of where things are at, from a lot of people's view of the market being at that level, but you got to also take into account the devaluation factor and of the dollar, and the market always makes up for that without question. Gold, just holding on. It really hasn't had enough of a catalyst to move anything. I think if you see oil move, gold's likely to trade in tandem with it. Bitcoin making it just above that 23%. So trying to get something started after this long consolidation. And it's again, just I think waiting for that FTX, all the finality of whether they're going to liquidate assets and that, because a supply rush would certainly freak some people out. ETH not quite getting the same support. I think that's probably just a result of could be more assets in that category that potentially could be liquidated. From a 50K standpoint, after the short move coming down, we made that brief move, and it started to look strong here with this MBI white leading early on, but nothing really happened. Magenta stayed above yellow, and as long as that did, it was enough to give it support. There's the potential that you could see a reversal in here, but now potential is anything above that 23% could be start of a new buy run. So keep an eye on that. Light action for the day. I mean, literally, it didn't take much to go back. We had the early buy signal, created a couple of positive extremes. Those filled back pretty darn fast. And then we just started getting these white spikes, and all of those led to MBI retracements coming back down. And a really good one here where it went divergent for a little while. And then once the sells started, boom, hit it and actually took all the way down to within the same ranges. I mean, I haven't moved any of these algo levels, and we're just continuing to come right to them, bounce back from them. So it's the same play over and over, and that's just I think a clear indication that some people are waiting for a little bit of clarity to know which direction to really want to push, because there's a case to be made both sides, and yeah, I think you hear a lot more in the gloom and doom, which leads more towards my view, the rally side of it, simply because when you get too many people in one direction, the money is always going to go opposite them just to counter that action. So, and that's part of that mean reversion that we're finally seeing on the ES that we haven't in a long time. So it's good stuff. And going into December, though, I think that we're just waiting for those early signals for rally, and we're going to see it, and we'll be the first on it. That's why you got to have the indicators. As always, though, trade well. We'll talk again later. Have a good one.